right now.
Oh,
So,
really? I haven't noticed.
yeah, me neither. I just kind of caught a couple things, cheerleaders got new uniform and stuff. All right,
Mhm.
I
Okay.
got
Hopefully
6
more
o'clock.
revealing.
Right, I got 6 o'clock. What's your over?
Let's do it.
All right.
Game day, baby! Let's go!
Welcome everyone to live. This is our week 17 show. 2 weeks to go in the regular season. We'll close the books on week 16. Get you ready for week 17. And then we turn the corner in the playoffs. I am Riff Guru along with the Hall of Famer Wayne Violator Mabry and the legendary pirate Captain Jack. Gentlemen, as we've now reached almost the final part of the regular season, we said last week or maybe the week before it's time to up or shut up, and I think some of those teams have already made that decision. We'll get into all the craziness, including some breaking news out of Las Vegas. I heard the cheerleaders will probably get some new uniforms. There might be other news that we could talk about, but indeed of all that, V, what are your quick thoughts, my friend?
Wow. Let me go back to Saturday. Saturday night was an immaculate deception. And we'll go into that further, but I'm sure you out there feel the same way.
Got beat by another Harris. Can you go figure that? Well, Cap's ready. I'm ready. And I don't know, maybe you're ready or not. I don't know. Are you?
I got IV in my arms, but let's do it.
Yeah, you might want to turn it up.
Yeah, I can do that. I can do that.
Our NFL Nation Live, our Week 17 show. Let's close the books on Week 16. Get everybody ready for Week 17. There's a few playoff spots still out there that are unscored. Maybe we'll learn a little bit more about that before the weekend's over. But sooner or later, in about another week or so, this will all be buttoned up. But we're going to have New Year's, some bowl games, and all kinds of other stuff. Welcome to the chat, everyone. The chat room is open. So, get all the other stuff that's going on in Las Vegas. Let's get to a few games first that matter. Jacksonville went to New York and beat the Jets. That big for the Jaguars because they're now in place in the AFC South. Another division like the NFC South that nobody seems to want, although Jacksonville might. I think they might try a game in Houston. Dallas takes care of business tomorrow. We'll talk about that. The Ravens beat Atlanta. Don't care too much about that one except for the fact that Ravens now have locked up a playoff spot. For me, other than Las Vegas, we'll get to that. Detroit going into Carolina and getting beat by the Panthers was a big deal for the Packers. Beat Miami. I think now we can talk to Frenchie here in a minute, but Lions may be in deep doo at this point.
Well, personally, I never expected Detroit to go down there and let those pussycats scratch their back like they did, but it happened.
They declawed them.
They really declawed them, and maybe that was some cat love or something that I don't really understand. But I'm gonna let Jacques Levy explain it like he sees it.
Yeah. So what to the Eastern Michigan pussycats?
I am smoking a cigarette in disgust. In disgust. Right now.
You might want 2 cigarettes.
Well, when I bring my babe over later on, we will smoke together. You know how we talk about, we'll do a before cigarette, we'll do a during cigarette, we'll do an after cigarette. We might even have a cigar. If we're going to have a cigar, we're going to have 57 cigars, the best cigar to put in places other than your mouth. I'm just saying.
I think Clark
I'm
did
just
clear out his
saying.
block.
Cognac bottles. There you go.
But you gave up a spot to the Packers. You didn't have to. I don't think you're going to make the playoffs there, Jacques.
Well, it's Jean-Paul. Jean-Claude is my other brother. This is Jean-Paul Jacques, not Jean-Claude Jacques. Don't you even know what Frenchman you are talking to, you ignorant? You imbecile.
Hey,
God
the only
dang.
French I know is fries.
Yeah, I didn't cuss. I said God dang.
What, fries?
No, Joe, you're making me angry. You're making me furious.
Well, I'm good at that. Yeah. Well, anywho, the Lions will beat Chicago. I was still kind of sorry about that one because I thought the weather might have something to do with that game, but it did not.
Am I done? I'm going to change my freaking hat if I'm done.
Yeah, you're done. We moved on to Buffalo. The Saints Cleveland somehow, I'm not really sure why. And the Carn Raiders comments are fine, folks. We'll get to those just a little bit. Seattle lost to Kansas City, not a surprise.
Not a surprise.
New Orleans beat the Vikings. They could not. What happened to the New York Giants, man? Here's the thing. Put them on the clock in week 15. Everybody's like, oh, no, put them on the clock. They still had a chance. They're out.
You know what happened from what I watched of that game? The Giants cannot put enough points on the board.
Exactly.
Their defense is kind of like ours, keeping them close, keeping them in the games, but they cannot score consistently.
And you can't run the ball when you're down. They
Absolutely.
were 24-13. They got the touchdown, the 2-point conversion to tie, and gave it up at the end. So it was a game that they could have won. But to your point, V, you can play good defense and run the ball, but trailing because you're not scoring enough points. The Giants are 19th in scoring. That's not very good, right? Most of our playoff teams are in the top 10 or 11. And Jacksonville are 11.
And that's kind of like what we used to call paint in the construction industry, painting yourself into a corner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they're using some big old paint buckets too. Well, I think they're out done. They've been done for a while. Coach B, you guys fumbled the ball when you could have beaten Cincinnati, and the Bengals got out of there with the win, man.
He's waking up. He's waking up. Give him a second.
So, Coach B, you were moving on to Cincinnati. You didn't move on quite enough. They beat you at home, man.
First off, I'm not going to swear, but I'm missing my cues here. Okay.
That's okay. Well, you wear a black hole t-shirt, so maybe that's a good sign.
Well, no, it's I have the volume down, and because was doing my nap, and then I'm like, oh, wait a second. You said Cincinnati and B. Oh, okay. So yeah, I had to wake up. So anyway, here it is. The season's over, but again, I'm still the greatest coach of all time. And that's just the way it is without saying, that's why the New England Belichicks will be back next
Don
year.
Sheila on the phone.
Yeah, the New England. Wait a second. There's a phone call. Wait.
Is that Don?
Yeah, Rob? Yeah, Rob. No. Go to stall 3. That's the best happy ending going. Stall 3. Don't tell the wife. Dude, you just got married about 6 months ago. You don't want to be in divorce court already, okay? It's called an alignment. Yeah. Stall 3, an alignment, happy ending. All right. Hi, Rob. Bye. Sorry, I had to take care of business.
Yeah, that's okay. No worries. But in any case, you guys fumbled a snap, could have beaten the Bengals, didn't get it done. I think you're on the clock, my friend. Hate to say it, but you're not going to win out, and you got to win out to get in. You're not going to get in because you're not going to win.
Well, okay, Mr. Smarty Pants. Who do we got on the schedule?
Well, you got Miami at home this week, but you got to Buffalo play the Bills.
Okay, you might be right.
Yeah, I might be right.
You might be right.
Anyway.
Yeah. I was going to say
but that's okay.
That first one, I'm not taking anything on Miami because I think Tua is one more concussion away from being put in a box. And I hate saying it, but it's that's a very harsh thing to say. But when that gentleman has
and I
all of
think
the
it's
problems that
unfortunate.
he has, I
Yeah.
really think he might want to look at another line of profession
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
himself. Because again,
Yeah.
I my heart goes out to him.
Absolutely.
But I don't want to have anything bad come of it. But again, he's one hit away.
Yeah, maybe so.
So that's why we'll take care of the fish. We'll
Yeah, I
take
think
care
you
of the
probably
fish.
will. I think you probably will. And your best hope is that Buffalo rests some players in week 17 or week 18.
Yeah, I mean,
but
it's not like it's going to be cold wherever the game is. It's either New England or Buffalo, but
Right.
it might be cold.
Yeah,
But that's okay. I mean, we're all gonna be resting players, whether inadvertently or not.
exactly. Yeah, there's some being rested in Vegas as we speak. Guys, Houston went into Tennessee and beat the Titans. We talked about whether or not this might be a trap game or not. Now the Titans are
Tennessee,
Yeah.
the
the Titans.
love when anybody goes into Tennessee. But I tell you, it was a surprise when they came in. I said that correctly, right? Surprise.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Dang it, we didn't expect them boys to come in here and they laid it to us. I said that's why I think that old boy Mike is probably gone, but I did talk to another Tennessee fan and he is of a mind, not Mike, the guy I was talking to. He is of a mind because he lives in Tennessee, and he said that the guy that's the GM now that took over for the GM that got fired. You know what, when you get canned, you get fired. Anyway, the guy that got fired, the guy that took over from the guy that got fired, he's saying that Vrabel is going to stay. I don't know. Just I heard from my kinfolk up there in Tennessee.
Vrabel's going to get fired and go to Las Vegas, be a defensive coordinator.
Well, I'd like for Vrabel to be fired and go to Vegas. I like them Raiders. Don't tell nobody, though, because, Tennessee's my team. And I got a contract with Jack Daniels and Jim Beam. But I like them Raiders. They're pretty cool. But it's still a surprise that those boys from Houston came in. But I think they blew it all because they could have locked up the number one seed for the draft.
Mm-hmm.
And they might be in danger of losing it now. So,
yeah,
you think?
In a big kind of way.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
Anyway, I'm gonna go now. I got to go feed the pigs.
Gotcha.
Sweet.
Don't
take care.
Don't forget the lipstick. Washington with San Francisco got beat by the 49ers. Washington's in big trouble. I don't know if they're going to beat Cleveland this week. They might, only because they're at home. But hanging on by a thread. Philadelphia got beat by Dallas. I don't think Philadelphia really cares that they got beat by Dallas.
Cowboys, baby. Who about them Cowboys? What I tell you? I tell you?
You're going to go to Tampa Bay in the playoffs and play the Bucks?
We're going to beat the Bucks. Hell, that's a gimme game. Hell, Brady's already making his plans to go out to Vegas to be the quarterback next year. His mind is not in the game.
Who's making up his mind?
Brady. That guy that plays for the what's that? What's Jack call him? Like the fake Pirates? He's
the guy that fumbled
his plans.
The guy you talking about? The guy that fumbles?
Yeah, that guy. That guy.
Not here. Not happening. Not happening.
The guy that threw 2 interceptions and fumbled a bunch of times. That guy, he's already making plans to go out to Vegas because they done crapped all over their quarterback today. So he's him and the boys already talking. So I ain't worried about going to no Tampa.
Gotcha.
Tampa is they're one and done. Trust me on that one. One and done. Because the good old Cowboys are going to round 2, baby. Yeehaw! How about them Cowboys?
Might end up going to Philadelphia. Speaking of Tom Brady and the Las Vegas Raiders, they dropped one in Pittsburgh, a game that could have won. They went up, 13-0 or 13-3, whatever. There were people I'm watching the game with, and I said, we're going to get beat 13-10.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it was. And the fallout from there, guys, over the past week has been dramatic. Derek Carr has been benched. We had a couple people get hurt in that game. On defense, have been put in IR. What is going on in Las Vegas?
total spring cleaning. Keywords.
It's not even spring.
But they're getting a jump on it. Total spring cleaning. And that debacle in Pittsburgh, that put the nail in a coffin for some people. And it leads back to what last week's show we were discussing, whether it was all rigged or what, but it was almost like watching theater on a football field.
Well, and you'll never get through the flag on the face mask that called back to Josh Jacobs' run down the sideline.
Was it Mahalik?
Oh, gee, no. Come on. Really? No.
I wanted to talk about that because it was really, I don't think there was any flags in the first half. I think the first flag came out around mid-third quarter, right?
Yeah, it was pretty clean.
Yeah, it was clean. They were letting them play.
They took the first half for McCulloch to get out of his drunken stupor to figure out what game he was working.
Well, that's neither here nor there or any sort of slander or malice in that comment, not that it probably is true. But it sucks that on the one play that the Raiders needed offensively, and I'm going to go into defensively in a minute, but the one play on offense where Jacobs finally gets, and I think that was probably his biggest run of the night. It was about a 20, 25 yarder. It was pleasant. It was deep down into the red zone. And the game could have been won with another score. I really think so. But then you got some schmuck who throws a flag. And was it a face mask? Yes, it was. It was. But it was really hands to the face. It really wasn't a face. They called it a face mask, which was incorrect. It should have been hands to the face. Neither here nor there. Normally, that doesn't get called. Right. But it did inopportune on that one. I'm going to go back and while I'm on my rant here, so I'm on my soap, I'm going to go to the other one. The other one is the fact that on the quarterback sneak on fourth down, he was short.
Yes.
He was short. And they didn't look at it again.
Nope.
They didn't do anything. They had the angles. They could have because remember how long they did on that game in Seattle when they went over with it was what 5, 10, 15 minutes.
Easy.
They took no time on that call. Like I said, the game was rigged. Every call that would have and could have and should have gone the way against the Raiders was going to be going against the Raiders. That's just the way it is. Yeah. Defense played well for most of the time, and people are knocking on the defense, but you can only keep people out for so long.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So writing was on the wall. And I had the safety wrong. I thought it was Merrick, but it was actually Harmon should have came over on the touchdown. Yeah, because the Hobbs was looking for safety help, and he got safety help about 3 seconds too late.
Yeah. Terrible game, man. And it was just with all the hype and build up to it, it was just like, oh my God, everybody I'm sure stayed and watched it, but it was painful to see it just play out like scene 3, act 2, that sort of thing. No arguments, just like, hey, here it is. We're shoving it up in you. Take it. So.
Well, and the fallout now then is that the Raiders have essentially said they're moving on from Derek Carr.
I think pretty much that's what the message they're sending. The media has been like on fire since it was announced, and I'm sure the nation is still split on that. But what we're seeing is what we talked about early in the season. Oh, I brought it up. There's a transition that we're not going to really like until later.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be painful. We won't recognize the squad that we see right now.
So Cap alluded to, Brady and V. We were talking about this in the green room before we started the show. I think just before Cap came in. Stidham's obviously not the immediate term answer. So if the Raiders going to go get somebody for a year or two, who are they going to get?
That was the discussion that we were having. Yes. And I've personally heard Brady's name thrown out there and Aaron Rodgers as of late. So and Jimmy G's name came up also
Yeah.
Well,
as bridge quarterback, so to speak,
Right.
yeah. Well, yeah.
because they're drafting a quarterback. Trust me.
Yeah, and see that's the thing. And I mean, and I'll say his name, effing Tom Fumble effing Brady, because that's his full name.
Mm.
If he becomes our quarterback, I am still a Raiders fan because I am rooting for the guys that wear the shield, the pirate, the cross swords.
Yes.
I am not going to like the quarterback, but if he comes in here, he better win games. But the way it is scripted, because remember, this is an entertainment industry. What
True.
better script can you get from the man that may have the only chance of bringing 3 separate teams Lombardi titles?
Wow, good one.
3 separate teams when the Raiders host the Super Bowl in 23.
2020.
He comes to the team, and in his first year, kind of like he did with the fake Pirates, in the first year, he leads them to a Super Bowl. If this is Hollywood. And then after that, he goes away.
Yeah.
He goes away after that
Walks
because
off.
at that point, because again, the guy is on the last of his fumes. He really is. He's on the last of his fumes. Can he do it for 1 year? Sure. If he gets the Jordan rules, or AKA the Brady rules, he can do it. I will enjoy a Super Bowl win, hopefully before I croak. But I'm going to resent every day the man who did it. I will. I admit it. I want to see another Super Bowl title, but if that guy does it, I'm going to hate the fact that he did it. It's kind of like when the Gators won 2 national championships with Urban Meyer as their head coach, okay? I love the fact that Urban Meyer brought 2 national championships to the Gators, but I despise the coach. But I really think that it's playing into Hollywood scripts. You got Tom effing, it was a fumble Brady coming back to play for McDaniels. He doesn't need any time in the preseason, right? No. He just goes locked in and does everything. I think that Adams stays. People are saying that Adams is going to jump ship. No, he's not. He's got a contract. He's got a quarterback that is. It's not a rookie. And then Waller will be. I mean, they're making the Cheatriots of years ago there, and they got a number 1 receiver. The best receiver they ever had was Randy Moss, and they were 17-1 on that. But everything is there. You get a couple more players for the offensive line.
Yeah.
You draft defense, and you draft the quarterback of the future. Draft the quarterback of the future. And that's what I want to see is who is the heir apparent after that person leaves. Am I speaking out of turn there, V, or
no, not out of turn, man. It's everywhere, man. It's already seeped out, so everybody's smelling it right now.
How much of the coaching staff do you think stays intact?
Oh, most of them, yeah.
I think most of them will.
Right, because they need the pieces. Great. The defense is, as I said, the defense has been playing well. They just get exhausted at the end of the game. Overall, they've been playing well.
I meant if I didn't say it, I meant from the coaching standpoint. I mean, look at the job that Gus Bradley's doing in Indianapolis. You got to appreciate the way the Colts defense shows up everywhere.
But the Gus has his players to implement that.
I agree with you on that front.
Gus brought over a lot of the players that go right into the system. It was quick, and it's still vanilla, but it works.
It works.
But
well, it's AFC South
is more intricate, but he needs the players to do it. So that's why he gets the players, give him another 2 or 3, and I think he can do it in year 2 if TB12 comes in, because again, we're going to have Brady rules, and we'll be able to do it.
My issue, I'd rather have Rodgers than Brady, but I understand everything that you said, why Brady would be there. My issue, Cap, and I don't disagree with anything that you said, but personally, my issue would be with Brady. It would be because he would wear the number 12, honestly. would be the biggest problem. I mean, to me, that's Stabler's number, and will always be Stabler's number.
Yes, but
and
Zay
so-
Jones wore it, and nobody had a problem with it, right?
I'm
You're
sorry.
going to have somebody wear the
Yeah,
12.
Zay, yeah.
Yeah, I know, but
But QB wise, yeah.
I know. I mean, Rusty
Gannon wore it well.
Rusty Hilger wore it. Gannon wore it. Okay.
Yeah.
It's going to be worn.
They didn't They didn't win Super Bowls.
Yeah, but the thing is that it's going to be worn because he's going to. You think he's not? You're not going to. Well, I'm coming here as TB13. No, it's TB12. That's the moniker.
11, TB11. I understand what you're saying. For me, it's just a.
It's a tough pill to swallow. There will never be another wide. I take it back. There might be another wide receiver to wear 25, but they won't wear it as well.
No, there've been a lot of people wear it that
wore that number.
just basically torched it.
Right.
But that's the other question that I have was, if the Raiders deal away Waller, and I'm not saying they will, but what if they did? You think there's any chance Gronk comes back?
That's not too far-fetched either, if I can jump in, because I'm hearing rumors of Edelman's interested in coming back. Well, where the hell you think he's going to come back to? Right here in Vegas, if he comes back. Familiarity with the system, play a year with his buddy, TB12, and possibly Gronk. It's you talk about a Hollywood makeover, that's what we're going through.
Yeah, that's what it would be. They got to sell tickets, right?
Right. Yes. And Edelman was talking about coming back if Brady went up to New England, right?
Who was coming back? Who was
Edelman stated that if Brady went back to New England, he would come out of retirement to play for Brady up in New England. I will give you some news on Gronk. Gronk was actually talking with the fake Pirates earlier this year of coming back, and they were close, but they just didn't quite make the connection.
Yeah. Well, I'm not surprised. He doesn't need to play for the money. And so why risk getting hurt? He's young enough that he can enjoy his money and whatever boat parties he wants to go to and not have to deal with the grind of NFL season. And, but, okay. But, the whole thought of the Las Vegas optics, like you said, with the Super Bowl being there, whatever, might be too much for some folks to turn down, but it would be really interesting to be a fly on the wall with some of those discussions that would go forward, right?
Oh yeah, it's going to be the show of shows, and they're not. Look, money is no object in that town, so if they want it to happen, watch, it will happen.
Yeah,
it's already scripted.
Yeah, Gronk stick to commercials, probably so. All right. Well, that pretty well closes the book on week 17. It'll be an interesting week 17. We'll cover that in just a minute. We do have a trivia game. If you watch this show every week, this is a hard one because you hadn't been paying attention. But we have a kind of a cool surprise tonight if you get it right. Who did we put on the clock in week 8?
Oh wow!
We'll be right back. Back everyone to NFL Nation Live. It's the week 17 show. We have closed the books on week 16. Our trivia question for tonight is who did we put on the clock in week 8? So if you're paying attention to this show, maybe you'll know the answer. Maybe you won't. In this case, tomorrow, Dallas is going to go into Tennessee and play the Titans. I'm not sure who Cap's rooting for, but we might know who somebody else is rooting for in just here by a second. So which way are you going to go with that, sir?
Well, first off, I said Dallas is going into Tennessee. We got a lot of cousins up there.
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of like we're going to go eat out. We're going
to
have
they're relatives.
Barbecue and whatnot. We got our cousins up there in Tennessee. They're pretty cool for Southerners. So I won't talk too bad about it. In fact, I'm gonna get my kin up here. We talk about Tennessee as well. Yeah, we're on here. We're going with them Cowboys as well, but we got the good old moonshine, and we're gonna have a party. I don't care who wins. We're just gonna get drunk.
I got the Star Boys in this one. Over Tennessee.
They still got something to play for, right? I mean, they're in the playoffs, so they can take a break if they want to, but you don't want to risk falling to the number 6 seed, right?
And right now they're pretty much one-dimensional. If you really want to get down to the nuts and bolts of it, they're pretty much one-dimensional.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had the double team before. That was
I know. That's why I thought it was really interesting.
Two-fisted, baby. Two-fisted.
Yeah. Jerry sipping that whiskey. I think that might be true. Kev had a guess on Washington, but we put them on the clock in week 6. Jets in week 8? No. We put the Jets on the clock in week 1. We weren't even out of our preseason show. We had the Jets already on the clock. And remember, everybody went ape cuckoo like in weeks 5 and 6 when they were winning. I'm like, no. All right, Arizona going to play Atlanta in Angry Birds version of Nobody Cares. Chicago going to go into Detroit. And that really doesn't matter except for the fact that the Lions are trying to hang on to whatever they've got left for a playoff spot. But I think the Packers are going to finish that conversation because I think Green Bay's going to beat Minnesota somehow this weekend. And then Detroit's got to go into Green Bay and try to beat the Packers. Ain't going to happen.
What game are we talking about? You're confusing me. You old bastard.
Well, I'm good at it, I guess.
You're talking about Green Bay. You're talking about I don't know what the hell you're talking about. You need to get your mail together.
Well, what we're talking about is the fact that you're going to beat the Bears at home.
Yeah, of course. It's Chicago. That's where we go for a good time to go with all the big women down there from the market. You know, with the women that are like big cows in Chicago at the stockyards. It is a place where the 12 men go to have a good time with all the big heifers down there. Of course, we are going to win. We are the 12. We are winners.
All right. Cool Kev says Green Bay eating the purple cheese. Oh, no.
Wow. I've got the Trois. I've got the Trois at home in this one.
Yeah, they're going to beat the Bears. Yeah. The Bears are done. When did we put the Bears on the clock? Week 9. So it's that's one answer that's not there.
It was the team that we didn't put on the clock in week 8. That was
week
my
8.
Answer. The guy in week 8, we didn't put him on in week 9. I was right?
Huh?
Yeah, I said the team we put on the clock in week 8 was the one that we didn't put on in week 9. That's a prize, baby. It's semantics.
That's a hell of a clue too, brother.
It is.
That's a hell
Denver going to go into Kansas City, and I don't think they're going to beat the Chiefs. Even the Chiefs rest some people. Denver's in bad shape. Miami's going to go into New England. Coach B, you got the Dolphins coming in this weekend. Last week you fumbled the ball, got beat by the Bengals. You're going to fumble it again and get beat by the Fish?
No, like I said, I can't really say anything about that. I mean, you got Miami coming up here.
Yeah.
Now I will say this, and not a lot of people know this, but Miami usually beats us in New England. I don't know why.
Yeah, why is that?
I don't know. I mean, the last couple of years they've been coming up here.
Maybe the chowder's really good there.
And they've been winning. It's friggin' cold up here.
It is cold down.
You would not expect a team that's from the tropics to come up and beat the Belichicks at home.
Yeah, I know, right?
Don't
you have video on them or something? Or?
I mean, yeah, it's almost kind of like they're cheating or something.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, in any case, I think you'll beat Miami, but I don't think you'll beat Buffalo next week. So,
well, like I said, okay, we've already had this. Shut up. We've already had this discussion last segment. Okay, I don't want to relive old things.
Yeah, I don't blame you. So moving on to Buffalo.
Don't piss off Coach B. It's on to New England, and then it's on to Buffalo, where hopefully we won't get snowed. Did you see Buffalo with the house?
I did.
And yeah, I mean that's not cold. That's frigid. That's Arctic. That's something that even I don't like. That I mean, I have to throw on 3 hoodies when it gets that bad.
Yeah,
Okay?
that'd be a whole new
Talk about a
fashion
triple
statement.
header. I mean,
Mhm.
seriously, it's freaking cold.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like it that cold.
I don't blame you. I don't think the players do either. And I know the shirts, the striped shirts don't like it either. Because we don't get to come off the field, you know. The offense gets to come out, the defense gets to come out. We don't get to come out.
Now you're pussies anyway. It doesn't matter.
Well,
we care about you. You know, we
some
don't
of
care
them.
about you.
Yeah.
We don't care about you.
Yeah.
We don't.
The Colts are going to go into New York, take on the Giants. Nobody cares about that game. New Orleans is going to go into Philadelphia. I don't know if the Eagles win by accident. The Saints can win another one on the road. I don't think it matters. Philadelphia is already in. The Saints somehow beat Cleveland last week on the road, which I thought was a little bit of a surprise. Usually the Saints don't play that well on the road.
It's time for Kofi.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah.
I don't care what team it is. I just wanted to wear it, so screw it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. So now, so the Panthers going to go into Tampa Bay and take on the faux Pirates. How do you guys see this one playing out? I like Tampa Bay at home, even though the Panthers actually have the inside track now for the division title.
Yeah, I'm taking Tampa Bay at home, man. Home field, home crowd. You know, this is the swan song for TB12. So you know how the script always ends up. So he's going to get his calls.
Yeah.
And Tampa's going to win, maybe in a close one, just to keep the interest.
Yeah, I just don't think Sam Darnold's going to go in there and take care of business.
No. And actually, Sam Darnold is one of those other, because they're going to be, because getting back to another conversation, I'm going to hijack this thread. Sam Darnold's available for getting. You know, Gardner Minshew is available for getting.
Yes.
That Baker
dude. Yeah, Baker dude.
is ready for there are a lot of quarterbacks
Cooper
ready.
Rush.
So like in case you don't want TB12. And here's another one, and I might have said it before. Go and get Wilson. If you're the Raiders, if the compensation is, because he's not ruined yet. He's not ruined yet. From New York.
Zach.
The kid from BYU.
Zach Wilson. Yeah.
Right.
Because he's been put on ice.
You can do like another Wilson from BYU, but I think it would be better than the first one.
Mark Wilson. Yes.
I don't know about that. Why would you do that?
Why not?
He sucks.
Well, but he sucked in New York. Darnold sucked in New York. Richard Todd sucked in New York.
You see a pattern there?
42nd Street sucked in New York. Okay, so that's
they're all
here.
Three. No. Okay. Well. All right. Okay. I'm not saying.
Did you like how I dropped a bunch of whores on 42nd Street stuck in New York too? Come on, man. Don't leave me with these are straight easy lines.
Get your cap.
Yeah. Hey. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't clean up. I wouldn't take a roster spot for Wilson.
No, like I said, if you're looking now personally, if Captain Jack has his say, honestly, the quarterback that I want is Gardner Minshew as a caretaker quarterback.
Because that's what he'll be. Whoever they bring in, that's what they're going to be. Just a bridge.
I'd rather have Garoppolo.
Don't even waste your time with old boy TB12. I take Minshew over Garoppolo. Maybe I'm high, although I've never had it before. But I take Minshew over. I think he has more moxie.
Okay, maybe so.
Just my opinion.
Yeah.
What hat do I need next?
What hat do you need next? Cleveland they're gonna go into Washington. Washington's, they're worthless as much as the Browns are. Here's the thing. Usually the teams that play 49ers lose the following week. If that holds true, Washington would be the 14th team in a row to lose after playing the San Francisco 49ers, but they're at home against the Browns. What do you guys think? Nobody cares about this game, but I'm just kind of curious what your take is.
Nobody cares except Browns and Commanders fans, but I'm taking Cleveland on the road in this one. I think Wentz, who's the starting QB for Washington?
Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz, yeah.
Did they go back from?
They went back.
And Tyler Haneke is also another quarterback.
Yes, but they went back to Wentz today. Don't know what that's all about, but I see Cleveland going in there, just running the ball keeping Wentz over there with the,
Yeah.
with his jacket on because it's going to be cold.
I think Washington wins with the wrong quarterback, but that's what it is. Cool Kev says it might be a tie. He's absolutely right. That'd be ugly.
You're right.
So San Francisco's going to go into Las Vegas, take on the Raiders. How bad is this one going to be?
Real bad. If I can jump in first, real bad. Sad to say I'll be there, but I'm taking the Niners in this one, probably in a runaway.
Like 35-10?
That kind of a runaway.
Yeah.
20-point
remember,
difference.
there's gonna be about 60 to 75% of the stadium is gonna be gold and red.
That's what I was going to ask. You think the tickets are going to be cheaper this weekend?
It don't matter about the cost. They're coming.
Yeah.
They're coming.
All right. And then you guys got on a side note, you guys have Kev says Stidham shocks the Napa Liners.
I saw that one.
I'll tell you what, Kev, if that happens, we're gonna send you a whole nother present. But so here's the thing. You guys have a gig you're going to Saturday night, right? New Year's Eve?
Yeah, New Year's Eve party to be at the Sahara Theater. We've got Too Short performing, several other, musicians.
Yeah.
And like I said, just come out. Let's bring the new in like we do it. That's the only thing we can control. So let's control that atmosphere.
Okay, so Black Hole sponsored party at the Sahara Saturday night. Be there, be square.
8 to whenever.
Right.
Blackhole.com for your tickets.
And I will be dressed to the nines in a outfit that nobody's ever seen before.
What?
Breaking news.
If Southwest Airlines doesn't screw up my luggage,
yeah, right,
going out.
Yeah,
if they don't screw up my luggage, I will be dressed to a nines in a formal Captain Jack outfit.
Wow.
There you go, brother.
The hat people know from the Bolitnikoff event, but this is threads that I've never worn before.
Wow.
Breaking them out for New Year's Eve.
There you go.
Wow.
And with suit pants, but the rest of the stuff is threads that will be looking good.
Damn. All right.
So
bring it in, baby.
Yeah. So
sounds
if
good.
Southwest Airlines doesn't screw up my luggage, I will be dressed to the nines in that. If not, I might be in the same clothes all weekend because I'm going to pack extra underwear. I'm going to pack extra socks, and I'm going to pack like maybe one Captain Jack iteration, top and bottom for the game because I got to have that. But my carry-on is going to be packed because I can't afford
to not have
something.
Right. And that's real right now. It's sad, but I just, when you watch the footage, the frustration. I know me for one, it's so unnerving just to check my stuff in, but then to have it in another city and I'm somewhere else. Oh my Lord. It's, you don't just go pluck this stuff off trees. So it's, that would be nerve wracking, man. That's why I drive everywhere I can drive. I drive.
Yeah. I don't blame you for that.
Unfortunately, I'm at the whims of the air.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Down there in Westflow, you got to low flow.
Hey, prayers for your luggage, brother.
Yeah. It should be cleaned up by the weekend. They're not going to screw it up 2 weeks in a row.
I would
we'll see.
Put an Apple AirTag in there. You'll know exactly where it's at.
Well, the thing is that I made secondary arrangements with Delta on Friday, but I wanted to be out there tomorrow so I can do two engagements on Friday.
Oh, okay.
That's why I made it light for that. So it's like if I don't get to my secondary plans, I'll get to Vegas at 6:00 on Friday, which means I will be missing the start of the Josh Jacobs sign, and I'm supposed to be out there for that.
Okay.
So that's why I wanted to go Thursday. So, but $1,700 backup plan.
What?
Wow.
$1,700 back, not including what I have to pay for the luggage, because on Delta you got to pay for your
That's
bag.
right. You pay for your bags. Right.
So hopefully I will get out there on Southwest tomorrow, and I will cank half of that thing. But I think I'm going to keep Delta on the way on the way back, because the way Southwest is, I can't afford to take too much time to get back. So I might, it's going to cost this weekend, and I'm hoping to get the crap fixed by next weekend. I got to go out and do it again, and I got Southwest on the next flight.
Wow, interesting. All right, well, safe travels.
Yes,
and
definitely.
Hopefully your gear shows up and everything is hunky dory. And then on top of anything else about the weekend, you guys need to cover for everybody so they know where to go, what to do. So are you staying over? Are you staying at the Sahara also?
Yeah, that's where we are, and we'll be staying there. Tailgate wise, you can meet us in Lot J early in the morning on Sunday. We'll be breaking, doing our champagne stuff and breaking bread, and then before we go in for the show inside the stadium. So Lot J, that's where you'll see me if you want to come by and get photos or what have you. I'll be out there for a short time. Then I'll go inside and get my mind ready for what I'm going to witness.
Yeah, and then does the Sahara have transportation to the stadium, or you got to find a ride?
Well, you can go on the party bus if you want to go with us. There's a party bus that leaves the stadium, the hotel about 9:30. And so you're welcome to get on that. A nominal fee, drinks, music, fellowship, camaraderie, all of that.
All right. Sounds good.
And cool. I will, for the first time, I will not be at the Alara because they didn't have any rooms at the Alara. So I will be at Hilton Vacations on the Strip, which is closer to Sahara, but it's about a block and a half away. But I will make my way over to Sahara for the evening festivities and then maybe walk or get over there for the Sunday. If I can, we'll see.
Sounds good. Sounds like a great
party.
Look
forward to seeing you, brother.
Awesome. Yeah. Cool. All right, the Jets are going to go into Seattle, get beat by the Seahawks, and Seattle keep their playoff hopes alive. Probably the game of the week. Minnesota going to go into Green Bay to face the Packers. This is a Vikings team that, we still don't know what we have with them, I think, but they've managed to show up the last couple of weeks and put the pressure on. It's essentially now the number 3 seed, if you will, if the 49ers manage, their next couple of wins. So nothing wrong with the 3rd seed, but they've already got a playoff spot locked up. Now the issue is, can Aaron Rodgers get the Packers in?
Well, I'm going to take the Packers because they're going to have that Lambeau Field crowd behind them. I'm sure the weather's going to be nice and warm.
In the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field.
I'm seeing a low-scoring affair in this one. I think the Packers D gets after Kirk Cousins in this one.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Something he hasn't seen for a couple of weeks. The Giants did pretty good last week, but it's hard to go into Minnesota and beat the Vikings. I mean, some teams have done it. Colts almost did it, sort of not. But I like the Packers at home. I just think that if the Packers are going to get it done, this is the week to prove that they've still got some playoff left in them. Because if they win this week, they'll take care of business next week against the Lions, right?
You would think. You would think.
Yeah, you would think. So this is one we've all been waiting for. Los Angeles is going to go into Los Angeles and play Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So the Rams flip over to the visitor locker room to play the Chargers at home. What kind of craziness is going to be going on at SoFi? Do we even care?
No, actually, that's not true.
No?
No, because there's 3 dressing rooms in SoFi.
Yeah.
There's the visiting dressing room, there's the Rams dressing room, and the Chargers dressing room. So they don't have to get out of anything. That's why they did it that way.
So even though the Rams are the visitor, they don't have to go to the visitor locker room?
No, sir.
They'll stay in their own locker room, but they'll wear visiting clothes. But there's that they made it like that. Three locker rooms.
Well, what kind of home field advantage is that not?
Well, nobody gets a home field advantage in that stadium because nobody comes out for the teams.
Well, they're going to paint the end zones Chargers instead of Rams, I guess. But anyway, do you like the Chargers at home or do you like the Rams on the road?
I'm taking the Chargers at home in another close one. I think they'll play it close to the vest. Both of those teams may be resting some of their key players, but I'm taking the Chargers at home. More offense right now.
I think the Chargers win just so they can give us the Baker Mayfield finger. It's like, oh yeah, Baker Mayfield could beat you, but he couldn't beat us. I think that's the reason why the Chargers won. No, I'm serious.
I think you're right. It's unfortunate, but I think you're right.
I just don't think Baker Mayfield's going to beat us and the Chargers. And look, he's had way more time to beat the Chargers than he had to beat us. He had 24 hours to beat us. He's had 3 weeks to beat the Chargers.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh going to go into Baltimore, take on the Ravens. Steelers clinging to their playoff hopes, but they need a win, and they might get it against the Lamar Jackson-less Ravens. Do you think the Ravens can get this one at home?
I don't see Baltimore letting this one slip away. I don't care who comes in there. I don't see them letting this one slip away, and they're not going to use Jackson less as an excuse.
Well, I hope not. I got to tell you, though, Pittsburgh is a minus 55. Baltimore is a plus 31 on the scoring. Baltimore's lost their 5 games by a total of 11 points.
Wow.
Pittsburgh's lost their 8 games by a total of 91 points. So I think, the football pick would be the Ravens at home, I think, right?
I would say because of home field advantage for me. I just don't see them letting Pittsburgh come in there and just run roughshod over him. I don't care, Jackson or not.
Yep.
Yeah,
Kevin
that's
says
a nasty divisional game. It's going to be purple. It's going to be purple, and they're going to make the Steelers, and I said that correctly, the Steelers black and blue and purple as well. Yes, Gabe, we picked the Colts-Giants game because you're late. Go ahead, Ref, and let Gabe know who you picked in that game.
We took the Giants at home against the Colts. Colts are done. So the Giants, but I just don't think the Colts blew a 33-point lead in Minnesota. They're not going to go into New York to beat the Giants. I don't think. I'll be performing on Saturday night. Okay, Ed. That's cool. What's the name of your band?
Yeah.
Let's see. Ravens serving Pittsburgh some purple ketchup. Is it probably to go with their purple hot dogs or their clam? Or I think of crab cakes there, huh?
Yeah.
Kev likes the Giants too. The game of the week: Buffalo going to go into Cincinnati trying to hang on to the number 1 seed. How's this one going to play out? I actually like Buffalo on the road.
I like Buffalo on the road myself. They know they're this close, and I think they'll be more focused than Cincy at home.
Yeah, I think so too. I just think that the Bengals have won 5 in a row, but I agree with you, V. I just think the concentration is not going to be good enough to be ready to play against a pretty angry Buffalo team right now, right?
They are pretty angry. That's what I'm saying. So they're not going to be. They're going to go there, take care of business, get their chowder to go.
Since you guys realize we can clinch if we win, I assume you're talking about the Giants?
Yeah.
Since it doesn't sound like done to me. No, but just because you make the playoffs doesn't mean you're going anywhere. I think they've got
to get an extra week of bruises and an extra week of golf that you could have had.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Even if right now the Giants are the number 6 seed, and I'm not saying that that's bad, but you guys are 19th in scoring. That's pretty much done, even if you make the playoffs. So I'm just saying. And we put you on the clock last week, so that if that wasn't a nail in your coffin, then that's it. Since he shows the Bills who the high player is.
Nice one, Kev.
Okay, maybe so. I think it'll be an interesting one to find out. All right, I didn't see the answer to this week's trivia question. That's okay. But I did make it easy. Cap, who was the team that we put on the clock in week 8?
I have no friggin' clue. Oh, the Raiders? Oh, okay. I must have missed that week.
That's okay. No worries. I tried to make it easy, but it is. But sooner or later, we will have a prize to give away. We're adding another mug to our collection. So if you guys are familiar with our Steel Creations mugs that have our logo and either V or me on the back, we're adding one to the collection, and we're going to add a cap version to this too. I don't have it designed yet, but there'll be 4. There'll be 4. Yeah, you got the coffee mug. There's gonna be 4 of these total in the set. This one has the NFL Nation Live logo on one side. It's got a football field wrapped to it. It's black, and on the other side says Raider Nation.
Raider Nation.
So
nice.
Yeah. And we'll be adding a Captain Jack version of that mug too. I'm working on the design of it. I want it to be just right. But so that'll actually end up to be a 4 mug set as part of what we'll give away here on NFL Nation.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So for me, the Giants team isn't supposed to do anything this year. The whole team doesn't remain a plus when making plus this time. I agree with you. Nothing wrong with the job the Giants are doing. But honestly, if the Giants really wanted to make a statement, they should have won that game last week in Minnesota. And they you know, they played Washington to a 20-20 tie. I don't know. I'm not saying that what they're doing isn't good, because out of all the other teams, I mean, look at them. They're 8-6. I mean, there aren't Dallas, Philadelphia, Minnesota, Tampa Bay, or actually not even Tampa Bay. Philadelphia, Minnesota, Dallas, and San Francisco. Only teams better record-wise than the Giants with 8 wins. But you can't be 19th in scoring and expect to go too far into January. But yes, making the playoffs and all that stuff is a big deal for a Giants team that had a lot of question marks. They're playing pretty good defense. They're not going to be an easy out. If they're the number 4, 5, 6 seed, then they're going to play number 3, so they might have to go back to Minnesota. So Dallas will go to Tampa Bay. Giants might go to Minnesota. I'm just saying, and then the final wild card, which might be Green Bay, or Detroit, or Seattle, or Washington, would probably go to San Francisco. So
I mean, we're gonna tell you that Gabe, Dable has a really good year, especially after your cleanup with the Joe Judge crap that you put up with for 2 years. So kudos to that.
Yeah, I totally agree that the Giants aren't having a bad season. I'm just saying is that there's things that they got to get better at, and I would have been a believer in the Giants if they'd beaten Washington instead of the stall out at the 20-20 tie, because I think that really hurt. And then last week, they were down by 8 and they got to 8 to tie the game, but then they lost it. And I realize they're on the road, but Minnesota is a very beatable team. So the Giants are playing well. And like I said, even if they get in to the playoffs, I don't necessarily think that they'll be an easy out. But if they have to go to San Francisco, maybe not so much. But even after they tied Washington, remember that was in New York. Then they went to Washington and beat them by 8. So, but here's the thing: the Giants have lost 6 games. They've tied 1, but they've lost 6 games by a total of 71 points. They're minus 28 in the over/under. So, points scored versus points given up, they're minus 28. That's not gonna get you past San Francisco in the playoffs. So we're not saying that they're bad, but being on the clock on this show means you're not going to the Super Bowl, and probably not even to the conference championships from that standpoint. So it's just what we have. Giants turned it around. Raiders took a dive. Yep. Everybody knows that.
Sure.
I don't think that's news. All right.
They're not done diving yet. They're not done diving.
Well, I agree with you on that front, and we'll see just how big of a dive they take this week. Because they're really not trying to win it now, right? They're just trying to see what they can do, what they're not going to do, who wants a job and who doesn't want a job, and where they need to be. So San Francisco now just needs their jobs to go in there, win the game, but not get anybody hurt, right?
Get anybody hurt.
Right, because they be the number 2 seed. Dallas has to go to Tampa Bay, beats the Bucs, and goes to Philadelphia. They could beat Philadelphia. So then Minnesota goes to San Francisco, gets beat. San Francisco got the championship game against Dallas. So other things that happen. Yeah. All right. As we turn the corner, head into the playoffs, quite a few of the playoff spots are taken. There'll be a few more that are decided. Will be a little piece of the puzzle tomorrow night when Dallas goes into Tennessee, take on the Titans. If they can put the Titans down, then Jacksonville has to be careful when they go to Houston, right? That's not a trap game. Right. But what are you guys looking for? I know you're going to be partying up on Saturday. You'll be looking forward to the game on Sunday. I wish I could be there. But as you watch this Raiders team now, or any other team for that matter, what's going to be piquing your interest this week in Week 17?
I'll probably be singing in my head "C'est la vie"
Mm-hmm.
of things past. This is truly going to be the unveiling of the new look Raiders. Somebody said earlier today, the Las Vegas Patriots, you know who you are, giving you kudos for that. But I just see them throwing in the towel, man. The business side of the game is really it's going to affect the fan base for a few years here because we've dealt with so much for so long. And now it's just like the rug has been completely pulled from under us.
Yeah.
Yep.
I tell you, I if I may, and I am not a car hater. I'm not a Kardashian. I'm not a car apologist, but I always supported him as our quarterback. But maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. Unless I didn't hear the full conversation, and we don't know what was said behind closed doors. But when Derek Carr left today, to me, that's not a classy move.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a classy move. If you've been demoted and you know that you're gone, why not stick around and be supportive of your team? If you're a team captain, to me, that says it all. If you're a captain of this team, show that you're a captain of this team. You've been demoted, yes, but the team still is a 53-player entity. And for you to walk out, then I'm sure, I know your feelings are hurt. I get it. But you're a millionaire for a year or two or three or 5 or 9.
Right.
Show some friggin' wasta. Show some nervous and stick with the team.
Yep.
Now, unless they already told him and McDaniel is feeding the press a line of crap, which is possible.
Right.
That the door is still open for Derek Carr to come back. If that's a line of crap to the press, and he told it, say, "Hey, Derek, you're gone. See ya." I understand that, but even if they said that, I would try to make yourself appear more for the team because that's a bad look for you, Derek Carr. It is. It's a bad, in my estimation. I might be wrong, but my estimation, that was a punk ass move.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit in the green room before we came on the air about how we felt about Derek Carr's response to that. And part of what you said was that, either he said it or, it could be said whichever way it was. I don't remember what you said, but that, he didn't want to be a distraction. Right. But all you have to do is get up on the podium and say, I'm here to support my team. And just don't acknowledge all the quote distractions. I think that's just an easy way to say, I don't want to, and I agree with Cap. You're making the money, you're putting on the uniform, you're getting paid. You should be there. If you don't like it, okay, so be it. That's fine. If the team has said you're not going to play no matter what, we'll go with AJ Cole as our triple backup quarterback, and under no circumstances are you going to play. Okay, fine. Then you can put me on street clothes, but Cap, maybe that, like you said, we don't know what said behind closed doors. Maybe the team just said don't bother to show up. And if that's the case, then it is what it is. And Derek Carr, at that point, in my opinion, could say whatever he wants to say. But then if I can tell you, if the team had done that to me, that's what I would have said. Because if they've already moved on, what bridge am I going to burn by saying the team has said they don't want me here?
Right. I mean, and that's the point. And by the way, Ruben, he wasn't a scapegoat. He didn't perform this year. Okay. If he would have performed, we wouldn't be saying goodbye to Carr. Okay. He performed when he needed to perform at times. Yes, he did. And again, I'm not a hater. I'm not a supporter. I call it like I see him. When he has a crap game, I said he has a crap game. And when other people that are in the chat and they know who they are always won't say a kind word about Carr when he deserves some praise, and you know who you are, person. Okay. No, when he deserves praise, I gave him praise. But the point is, if he was told to go away, and he said, I was told by management to clean out my locker and go. That way you're covered. You're letting it all out there. You're being truthful. I was told to stay away. If you've been told to stay away, then tell them you were told to stay away. Again,
right. What's the downside of saying that?
Right. There is no downside of saying that.
Right.
At that point, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And it clears up all the confusion, from the fan base. At least we know. So
right. Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, it's an unfortunate situation, and all we can do now is to see how it plays out. We got a couple of games and then an off season to see what they do. We probably don't know anything until March, right? When the new year starts and everybody's contracts expire and all that.
Well, actually, like I said, Carr has to be dealt with within 3 days of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So the Raiders have until yesterday, until the 3 days after the Super Bowl,
right,
to figure out what they're going to do with him, because they need to cut him by that time in order to be rid of the contract. If he's still around 3 days after the Super Bowl, then that means that they are working out a trade for him. Okay. And or they're going to redo the contract, because he'll be under a contract. They might redo the contract,
right,
and they might keep him around. But again, we don't know. You will know within 3 days of the Super Bowl what is going on, because again, that is the key day when they can cut them, and then they're only due to eat $6 million. But I have a feeling that they will make arrangements to say, hey, we want to trade you. Obviously, you got a no trade clause. These are the teams that we are going to approach and or have approached us. What do you say about that?
Yeah. If it were me, I would say, what do I have to do to stay a Raider? And I would do that. I've started for 9 years and it didn't go like we wanted to, but maybe I can contribute to helping the organization move forward. I wouldn't want to play with anybody else, quite frankly. If it were me, I would say, what do I have to do to stay a Raider? I want to make a few dollars so I don't have to starve to death, but I don't need $40 million.
Sounds like a restructure, ref.
Well, fine. If that made me a Raider, I would do it.
And the same thing with Josh Jacobs, because Josh Jacobs has a Raider tattoo there. And if he wants to be a Raider, because he's going to be offered money bags by people that want a running back, okay?
Oh, yeah.
If Josh Jacobs wants to be a Raider, he will take a not the big bag.
Franchise tag.
He'll take a bag, but not a big bag, because again, running backs in the quote unquote Cheatriot way, they're a dime a dozen. It's running back by committee.
Right. Interesting. Yeah. No, that's a good point, and that's unfortunate when you've got a star back like that. But they may be looking at how much, because of his injuries, they may be looking at how much he's got left in the tank. He's been banged up, and maybe they don't think they've got 3 years left in him as the workhorse that they would otherwise need him to be, and maybe they feel like the committee thinks what they want to do. But you're right, and I don't think they can do that because they don't have what they want at quarterback to make up the difference for not being able to run the ball like they should if they don't have Jacobs. Interesting comment that says Kev says Carr didn't recover from his losses these last 2 seasons. This is he checked out mentally. I would actually argue that Carr never recovered from the broken ankle.
2016.
That's what I think. Things just never recovered after that. I don't know what happened and all that, but to me, that was the demark. Penn was a great tackle. His guy got through, and Derek gets his ankle broken, and to me, it's never been the same since. The upward trend at that point peaked. We had a playoff season last year and got jobbed in Cincinnati, and we shouldn't have. So maybe things could have been a little different. But anyway. I don't know.
Well, like I said, it's going to be a wide open book. I'm sure the all of the media, especially in Las Vegas, will be like vultures circling around that carcass, because it's going to be story after story. Like I said, like Cap said, unless he through social media or however, just let us know what the deal is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And to Gabe's points too about the Giants, the Giants got Indianapolis at home they can beat, and then they go to Philadelphia, and the Eagles are probably going to rest some players. They might get a win in Philadelphia. This is a team that could win 10 games, pretty darn good. And he says they're rebuilding, and I think that they are, and it's pretty darn good for teams rebuilding, and I agree with all that. I'm still not convinced about Daniel Jones.
And he's a free agent after this year.
After this season, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying he's not good. Obviously Barkley's good, and they've got a lot of stuff that's good that's going on there. I like what they're doing. I just think for this year, not saying, the Giants fans say, well, making the playoffs is good. Yeah. But the goal here is to play a little bit deeper into January. And I agree that, that 8, 9, 10 wins is still pretty good. But so I'm not knocking the Giants. All I'm saying is that for this year, they're done from that standpoint.
Right.
Doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that it is what it is. They're not going to win the Super Bowl. So for this year, they're done. So if winning the Super Bowl is what it is, and it is, then I think the Giants are done. That's all I'm saying. It doesn't make it bad. It just means that they're done. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week for Week 18 show. It'll be the final week of the regular season. Maybe we'll have a little bit better feel for how things went with regard to some of the playoff spots. But we'll take it all from there, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah! I'm going to be there. Support the Raiders, baby. That's your team.
Just figure it out, baby.
Figure it out. You got it.